Today we're going to take a look at drawing hair. And drawing hair, to be honest with you, is probably one of the more difficult things to draw. It doesn't have to be difficult though, as long as you know what you're looking for when you're drawing hair. When you're drawing the hair, you want to break down the hair into dark and light areas and really only concentrate on the values that you see in those areas. Concentrate on the shapes that those values make and try to copy those shapes as best as possible. You better have some time though, because drawing hair is a time-consuming endeavor. As you can see here, I've lightly outlined the shape of the hair, and now I'm going back into the darkest areas that I noticed in the photo reference that I'm using. I'm just trying to make the shapes that I see with the dark areas. And as I go along, I'm drawing lines to indicate the flow of the hair or the direction that the hair is growing out from the head. Now don't get obsessed with the individual strands of hair. Nobody has spaghetti on their head, so you don't want to draw it so it looks like a big mound of spaghetti. Instead, you want to just concentrate on what I said before, the dark areas and the light areas. And every once in a while, a dark area will extend out a little bit further. And that will give the illusion that there's a clump of hair or a grouping of hair. It's also important that when you make your strokes with your brush or your pencil, that you're making them in the direction that the hair is growing. You can kind of see this flow happening in the ponytail that I'm drawing right now. I'm trying to bring the lines that I do have in the image, I'm trying to make them mimic the flow of the hair. Now I'll go back every once in a while and use an eraser to erase out some of the areas. Ideally, for a larger drawing, you'll want to use your eraser a lot to create lighter strands of hair. This example is a relatively small drawing, so I'm trying to avoid using my eraser as much as possible. But for a larger drawing, it would be ideal to use your eraser to create some of the marks that indicate the lighter strands of hair. So I'll keep working and I'll keep building the hair out from the center. And you can see I'm working towards the inside part of the body. And in the photograph that I'm using, there's a large area of dark right inside of the hair, and it kind of flows, that value kind of flows into the neck. And there's not a real strong line there. So I'm going to go back to that dark area right underneath that ponytail and kind of make a slow gradation from dark to light. And I'm working all around the hair at the same time. That will help create some unity. It'll make the hair look like it's consistent. So it's okay to work around in different areas when you're drawing the hair. Now I'm going to go back in and get a little bit of an indication of skin tone, just so that we can have the contrast that we need so that the hair stands out. Contrast is also important in making the hair look like it's realistic. You can see now that I've switched to a General's Layout pencil, which is about equivalent to a 4B or 6B pencil. So I'm going to make my darker values even darker and increase the contrast. And as I do that, you can see the hair has more of a three-dimensional quality about it. Now, as I said before, contrast is important. So a background is important as well. It's going to help create a little bit more of a contrast and make the top of the hair, where the highlight is, stand out a little bit more. This will also add to the realism of the hair. Now I've gone back to my HB pencil, or number 2 pencil here. I want to slowly build up the contrast. It's always easier to go darker, especially when you're using graphite like this, than it is to go lighter. If you find yourself having to go lighter, then you have to get an eraser, and sometimes smudging can happen and make your drawing look dirty. So always start lighter and kind of build up, and that's what I'm doing here. And you can already tell at the top of the head, that contrast there is making that hair become more believable. Now to get kind of a smoother background, what I'm doing is I'm using a crosshatch technique. I'll go one way, turn my pencil, and go a different direction. And that will keep some of the pencil marks less visible. Whenever I'm working on a portrait, the hair takes the longest amount of time. Alright, now I'm going to take a blending stomp and just kind of blend that graphite together to get rid of more of those lines, make it a little bit smoother. That again will add some more contrast to the areas where I haven't used a blending stomp. So this time it'll be a textural difference. Then I can go back and make the area a little bit darker if I'd like. And I don't have to worry about my pencil marks as much since I've already blended things with the blending stomp. Now I've added a little bit more value to the face. I went ahead and did that because this video is about the hair and not the face. But I thought it would be important to see some of the contrast that happens when you get the value on the face. So my sketch is about complete here. I just want to remind you of a few things. Don't worry about drawing every individual strand of hair. You're not going for spaghetti. Remember to look at the dark areas and the light areas and try to see those shapes and draw those shapes of value. And that's pretty much it when it comes to hair. Hair doesn't have to be hard. It just takes a little bit of practice. And be sure to visit thevirtualinstructor.com for more